Hello everyone, how are you doing? How are you? Today I want to speak something on a topic called why spiritual is important in our life. Um, as you know, in our planet, we call some countries, developed countries, some countries underdeveloped country, some countries developing country, so on and so on. I think there are many things to say about our planet and to make, let's say, uh, to make a list, of these all categories. So I think these all are based on the materialistic approach, how one country earns GDP or um, let's say the financial success in their country and so on, and the big buildings and so on. So who have a financial success is so called developed country nowadays, in the Western countries and so on, and countries like India and maybe China and then other also Southeast Asia countries, uh, let's say developing countries. So and I have also noticed some people saying that uh, yeah, for example, India is very filthy, or somewhere, if you go dirty, and then cows and so on. Let's say something like that, something good things about India, something bad things about India, So I think of that, let's say, comment and explanation. And I've been to many countries in this planet, Asian countries, Western countries, developed countries like America and so on. I lived, not lived there in America, but I traveled. And in Europe, many countries, I've been there, and very much, developed and very much, let's say, educated people, let's say, they at the academic level, they're very standard and studied, uh, and financially also very powerful in Europe and other countries in Western. But I always felt something is missing there. Something, let's say, one part of our life is missing, and that is, I think, the spirituality. There is no space for spirituality, or I think there is no. Uh, there's a space, but people have no time. All the time you are dedicated to your job, your family, of course, to your boss or employer, I don't know, your company. So you are fully focused on all these things, buying house and property and making money. You are, I think, there's no, I think, space, or let's say time, to space and time to do something really from your heart, spiritual practice or spiritual way. Even you feel like a little bit cold, or feel something strange in the public if you recite some mantras, or if you go with your some spiritual clothes, maybe people find some unusual in you. So I think that's the, I think, general talking about the developed countries. Let's see now, when you go to developing countries like India and China and let's say, yeah, let's say Vietnam and uh, all those countries, right? So developing countries, there you can see at the one side all these developed materialistic things big house, buildings, and business, and cars, and all these, highways, and international airport, and whatever. All these, materialistic things. And at the same time, you also see the the let's say the other part, that means they are very dedicated to spirituality. They're dedicated to their day-to-day life, tradition, and spiritual life. They do their practices. They are not fully focused on material success, property, and money making, or let's say bank balance, upliftment, or how to say, uh, success, and so on. They are doing all the time their own spiritual practice, going to monasteries or going to temples. In India, every corner you will find spiritual spots where you can go and offer something to Lord Shiva or Vishnu or anything, Mother Goddess or whatever, So I think all these developing countries like India, and so every corner of India you can find spiritual temples and so on. And from my point of view, I think these are the good things. I think these are the, I think, are part of our life, and they really utilize it, and they really uh, how to say, keep it till now, on the other side, they have business, they have work, and they are doing everything, to live their life, to earn something. And let's say 50-50, or maybe, yeah, 50-50. So spiritual 50%, and the, you know uh, let's say, financial success, or success life, 50%. So I think in that way it works very well. It's not a, let's say, the bad aspect of the developing country. It's a good aspect of developing country, like India and all other developing countries. They do their tradition, they do their, let's say, all these spiritual activities from their, I think, from the bottom of heart. They are very near to it, and they have not lost the root of these all values, spiritual values, values of tradition, values of ethic, and so on. I think it's a wonderful, Otherwise, if you lose this, I think in 50 years, if you build, big highways and big developed uh, urban cities, so-called smart cities, and all this, and if on the other side, if you lost your root, I mean the base, the tradition, if you lose your tradition, you don't practice it. If you lose your spiritual, it's gone. If you lose your ethic, moral, let's say, base, I think then it's very pity. So I think the developing countries, so-called developing countries, should keep all these the human values, human ethics, and traditions, and all these things. These are the, I think, the, let's say, the essence of our life. Without that, I think life is, I think, like a robot. Life is like a, I think, cemetery, dead cemetery, where all these zombies are going here and there, without any love, affection, without any time, to have a leisure time, let's say. All are running after money, and running after success in life, so called, materialistic success, not the spiritual success. So I think people should really think on all these values which are good, not explain it in an other dimension. And I'm quite sure many scholars, professors, people from the Western side sometimes emphasize uh, wrong on all these developing countries, So they should really emphasize it in a good way, whatever they have, like culture, and so they should really respect it and promote it instead demoting, or how to say, let's say demotivate, them. And all the developing countries, youngsters and guys and girls, and the entrepreneurs or whatever, even you have all these things, you should never forget your root, your culture, your ethic, and your uh, love and affection towards the humanity, towards the animals, so these can uh, prevail or spread love and kindness in our planet. Otherwise, you know it's I think so-called Kala Yuga in Sanskrit, or in the Hindi language, Kala Yuga, the bad time has come, So in order to avoid or just keep going, in this, to keep going, spread love and compassion and good things, spread good activities in our planet, spread love in our planet, we should really respect culture, spiritual, and morality. That's it, man. So, thank you.